over properly, gets in the way.
Thank you, Kaylee. That's exactly what I
Keeps
need.
the blankets up. Gets cold in there.
We're live, Kaylee. We are live.
We're live.
What is up, everybody?
GunGamers podcast, episode 19 with Freddy Flux from Veterans for Airsoft. How you doing, Freddy?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
I'm
doing fantastic.
Good. Chilling.
Yeah. Everybody looks lively.
Should we start off with what's in the cups?
Sure, man.
True, that is the tradition. What I have in my glass is some Nika barrel-proof Japanese whiskey, which was very, very generously donated by a viewer of the podcast, Jeff Smith. Thank you very much, sir.
For sponsoring this podcast.
For being our liquor sponsor.
Yeah,
what do you have, Ian? I hear you have something of his too.
Yeah, so I've got some George T. Stagg bourbon, which was also donated to us by the good Mr. Jeff Smith.
That is also a barrel-proof, very, very nice bottle.
Very, very nice and expensive bottle. Yeah, it's some great shit, man.
Freddy, what are you drinking?
I've got a Great Lakes style IPA. You know, hanging out on a Friday.
Hell yeah. Cory?
I have Juicy Haze IPA from New Belgium, the Voodoo Ranger. I love it. It's great. It's IPA season, especially New England IPA.
Ooh, yes.
Kaylee, what are you drinking?
Got that Bullet Bourbon, the classic, in the mug with coffee because
the Disney mug. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, you know. When you got what is this? Night before Christmas? Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's the night before Christmas, you know you're getting hammered. So.
I was gonna say, are you just gonna start chugging Catmo out of fucking out of the jar or the bottle again?
That's only if I'm late to the podcast. If I'm late to the podcast, I have to chug a bottle of Catmo.
Because you missed the pregame.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah,
I
gotta catch up essentially. So.
Oh my god.
As some context for this podcast, I felt like it'd be useful. Freddy, you've ran into some criticism of your events in the past, and you wanted to actually come onto the podcast itself and sort of set the record straight. And to start off, I guess in your own words, what is the mission of Veterans for Airsoft, and can you kind of explain what Veterans for Airsoft is?
Yeah, the mission is to connect vets with MilSim. So any veteran who's never played Airsoft, we want to take them out and introduce them to Airsoft. We have the option of doing it locally, regional events, but the meat and potatoes of what our program is National MilSim events. Third Coast Airsoft primarily, and same with Centurion. They've had our back since day one. I was playing with them already before VFA started. And so naturally, it just kind of, that's what's taken up our schedule and our time. It doesn't cost anything to the vets. If you travel with us, your travel's free. So just like any airsoft team that's already doing this for their friends and stuff, we're just decided to have a national presence and start a 501c. And this was before I knew anything about what had come before us. So I kind of was going in completely blind to anything that happened prior to 2017. So 2012 to 2017 was not my purview. And Black Sheep MilSim was just an event host to me at that time. So, but we're doing a good job. We're in our third year. We're nationally recognized, fully legal, and I don't care what anybody has to say. What we do is FUN, so much fun, and that's what all of us are here for. So I just want to spread that to guys and gals who served our military.
So I guess the question then becomes, so you're a veteran yourself, correct?
Yes, served in the Navy 7 years.
Nice. So what about airsoft makes it something that you feel veterans should be connected with? What about airsoft makes it something that is something you feel strongly about bringing guys into?
So I didn't know anything about airsoft until somebody else introduced me, but I would say that if you don't know anything about airsoft, most of us know about video games. And it's just this idea that we can escape from our reality, whether that's in our heads, in our hearts, wherever that reality is, we can get away from it. And then somebody introduced me to airsoft, and I was like, holy shit, the kinetics of the gear, of the fake plastic guns, because I got handed a combat G&G machine with a front wired, 9.6 volt battery.
Oh.
It just kind of like brought back this sense of like, oh shit, this is really cool. Like I could have a little piece of what I used to do, and have fun with my friends. It might not register with everybody, but anybody in the airsoft community, it registers with them pretty much the same way it registers with me. And so I try and find those vets that are like, hey man, I'm open to check it out.
So do you bring mostly veterans who are new to airsoft? Because I tuned into the PewTubers podcast you were on, and I remember you were saying there's a little bit of a split, like it's 50-50, guys who are already playing, guys who've played before.
Yeah, so the idea is that if you've already been to a national event, right? You're in it, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're in it. You're there. Help us get more guys in. So here's how we work. If you've never been to an event, you've never played airsoft, you don't know anything about it, you pretty much get 3 runs. One is just open play, see if you like it. The next is a national or a regional game, and then the third is the Centurion experience. You guys are Milsim West fans, and not everybody can make a Milsim West game an enjoyable experience for the group. You have a lot of people that may or may not be able to make that level of event where you have to pack everything in. There's no camp to go back to. There's no cars to go back to. And if you go back, you're kind of pulling out. So like, if you've been to a Milsim game and you haven't been to Centurion, we use their 1+1 program. So a vet's paying and we bring a vet for free. We're not in it to give free tickets to guys who are already going to Milsim. If you play airsoft and you can't afford Milsim, get a better job, manage your money better. That's not what we're here for. We want to show these guys a level of experience so they can come back and continue to play.
Gotcha. So that's my next question, I guess, would be, how many guys do you bring through this program? Do you bring through this who become returning regular customers?
Dude, I mean, like, we'll go airsoft percentages. I would say 6 out of 10 will come back and play or have come back and played. I can tell you this, of the guys that have come back and played, all of them bought gear before we even stepped on field. We took them to the event. We gave them the VFA gear, which is pretty much basic, medium grade level kit. And they're like, I kind of want my own stuff. And I can relate to that too. Like when I came in, I was like, no, I'm going to buy my own pistol. I'll buy my own rifle.
Oh, for sure.
But numbers wise, there's 184 on my roster as of today. 64 of those have been through our program. And that's in 2.5 years.
Okay.
Of those, I would say probably 60% of them are continue to go to events with us.
Okay. So,
what is the other amount of people? Are they not going through the program or something, or they're just there to see what's happening?
No,
the other 120 on your roster she's referring to.
Yeah, the other.
I don't think they've gone yet. Is what it was.
That's the thing is, there's a lot of logistics in it, right? Mm-hmm. So I send out an email to these guys and say, hey, here's what's coming on down the line. I've got so many tickets. That's the thing is we're limited to so many tickets.
Right.
So trying to line up, 3 to 6 vets each event is a handful in itself. So,
sure.
But that's what we aim for is 3 to 6. And recently we started doing helo tickets at the Third Coast Airsoft events. Okay. And so we find guys that are already paying to attend the event that have never taken a helo ride. And so we increase their Milsim experience. Just,
It's pretty legit.
So unless anyone else wants to take the lead on doing the questions here.
No, I got it.
What about, all right, you take the lead, Ian.
Yeah. So, excuse me. So, with VFA, obviously, I've seen on various websites, whether that's Junkies or I saw a donation link on another one. But as far as like donations and revenue, what does that go towards in terms of operations and whatnot?
Yeah, so operations are broken down into equipment, food, pyro, BBs, consumables. Those are the three things. Equipment, this year we haven't spent any money on equipment. We ran a donation link directly through Junkies, which is the one that you were referring to. And Junkies was matching everything that was donated, and they're going to be building our new Milsim kits. So it's time to step it up. We've been running 2.5 years on this equipment. It's time to take it up a notch. And we want to directly fundraise, not only to meet our goal, but to also, spread the joy of Junkies, and the relationship between that. When it comes to food is costing us anywhere from $150 to $200 to feed a staff of 6. A staff is everybody, volunteer, and people attending. It's usually 6 guys, 3 to 5 vets, and then myself. I've been running a lot of the games. I got 2 other guys that run with me. One is a vet and one isn't a vet, which is Doug Smith. And if you haven't met Doug, he's just a fantastic human being. As far as pyros, BBs, you guys know how much that stuff costs. If you're given a bag and a half to 2 bags per event, it adds up. We try to give 2 to 4 pieces of pyro to each guy, and then a lot goes back into just making the money. So in order for us to grow, we have to spend a little in order to make a little. So with a nonprofit, we've got some funds that are tied up in things like patches, T-shirts, hats, stuff like that. But the main prime thing that we have is a trailer with an action track chair. And so there's $17,000 in fundraising money right there that's directly linked to the program, being able to tote the gear to where we need it to go, to put up the camp that we need to supply the experience that we're looking for. Okay.
So you mentioned the action track chair. What's the story behind that? And, what does that do for you guys? How does that help your mission?
So I was already playing airsoft, and I was going through the VA, and it's really difficult to talk to guys in the VA because maybe they're not as open as you are. Maybe they're just guys just want to do their appointment and get out. One guy started talking to me. He was in a wheelchair, and he told me a story, and I was like, shit, dude, that sucks. I'm really sorry to hear that. And I started talking to him about airsoft, and then I realized, why was I talking to him about it? He couldn't come out and play. He was in a wheelchair. Both legs were missing. And then I mentioned it to Tim Green, who I was working with at the time, building up VFA, and he said, hey man, check out these photos. There's this organization, Allen Force, local to us, that rents these chairs out. We brought it to a game. And I was like, no shit. So I started looking into it. Lo and behold, we ended up renting one, putting a Vietnam era guy in the chair. He had a blast. He ended up being a big asset and paying all of our lawyer fees and stuff like that. So no fundraising money has been spent towards actually filing or paying somebody to do any legal stuff for us. It's all been directly donated. And then I realized, in order for us to outfit the chair the way that we need to, we couldn't borrow one. And so I just got driven onto this task of what if we can offer this chair not only to vets who have been injured, but also to kids in the community and get them out and interactive into airsoft. And if you haven't seen these things, man, look them up. Independence Fund has done a really great job giving these away to vets that hunt and stuff like that. So if we can bring awareness to the device so other vets can use it, that's what we're looking for. We just finalized it. We were supposed to bring it to Stonebreaker, and we were going to have a guy sitting in the chair that actually needed it. And, COVID stopped our state services, so we couldn't register. This summer, it's going to be super active, and we're hoping to make an impact with it.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, for the amount of money that went into that chair in the trailer, how much use have you gotten out of it?
So we haven't had any use. And let's talk about mission plan, right? So my idea to even have the action track chair wasn't supposed to be completed until this spring. I had no plans on even implementing the program until the fall. The trailer came 6 months ahead of time. In order to buy a trailer, it costs money. We had the money. The offer was on the table to grab a trailer from somebody already in the community So that money went right back into the airsoft community, and now we've got it. We've got a military tent, which we absolutely need a trailer in order to tote that thing around.
It's like
to
a
set up
GP
base
large
camp.
or like a Drash or something of that nature.
So it's a TR-18.
Okay.
It's one of the easy ups. It goes up in 3 minutes, whatever. It's a 10x20. So I can't answer your question, Eric, in the sense out of it, because I haven't actually started having the ability to use it. So we're having a launch party at the end of this month, and I've got some plans for the fall with some guys who absolutely will have a blast sitting in this chair and having.
So the chair itself, how do you plan on implementing that into like gameplay?
So the way that we built the chair, or the way that they built the chair and the way that we built the mount is you actually have to train the chair in order to get left to right, because the gun only has elevation.
Okay.
So it makes the guy sitting in the chair actually have to use it like a piece of electronic equipment. The way that we've used it in our game, in our charity game, was you can't shoot the driver. It's a tank. Your small arms fire doesn't have any effect. Because you have a human being sitting in the chair, you can't shoot tag rounds or rockets. So now we go to grenades, right? And grenades adds an element, player both in the chair and outside the chair. So grenade is the idea that takes it out. And then medic rule, just like anything else. Put a tourniquet on the guy. Grenade takes the tank chair down. That's the idea. We haven't done it yet, so once we do it, we'll be able to fine tweak it.
I will say, from a gameplay perspective, I'm a little nervous about, like, you could say they can't shoot tag-ins at this thing, but I'm a little nervous that someone's going to shoot some tag-ins at it, because vehicle rules at most games are pretty sketch, and once you incorporate a vehicle that's another level on that pretty sketch scale, I do worry that you're going to get someone who's going to launch tags at the thing regardless. So is there going to be a plan to remedy that?
Yeah, so, I mean, dude, we're talking about the ultimate milsim experience, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you're talking about, you sign a waiver, we're going to put the guy in a helmet, we're going to let him know exactly what he's up against, and we're not dealing with little kids here. We're dealing with military veterans that probably have combat experience. Maybe they don't. And the idea is that game producers will implement with us a safe way to use the chair. The 2 times that we've used it, there's been tags on the field. That guy sitting in the chair actually was delivering tag rounds to buildings. We had 0 problems both times that we've used it. I haven't used it on a milsim level at a national game, and I'm looking forward to try that out. So,
interesting.
And I'll be the first one to say that my idea could absolutely fail. And I'm okay with that, because we just raised $15,000 for this fucking amazing piece of equipment that, regardless of anything, it's going to bring awareness to our program and what we're doing in airsoft. And if I got to turn around and gift it to somebody, or give it to Allen Force Charity, who gives these chairs on a regular basis at festivals, I'm totally open to all of it. This is a great opportunity for me to just explore and do good things in the community. It's all about the community.
Yeah.
That was another question I had, actually, was, so what do you see? What's your main thing that you see you and the other veterans you connect with bringing to the game? What's the net positive? I mean, in your own words, what would you say is your main goal for the community itself?
A consistent presence of a team that you don't necessarily have to join. You can come and run along VFA. We'll feed you. We'll give you BBs. We'll give you pyro. Come run with us. The idea is that we bring a consistent presence to any and all event producers that we attend. Have a positive place where vets who are looking into airsoft can say, holy shit, there's an organization that does this, and they're doing it at the level that we deserve.
Okay. Who wants to take the next question? Trying to get someone else talking here. Come on,
you guys have the questions. I didn't. Is there a list somewhere? I didn't get any lists, so.
1 second.
Please.
Sorry, I completely forgot to.
This is what I have to deal with, Freddy. Unbelievable. Bunch of amateurs.
It's fucking amateur
to me, it kind of sounds like the Valken, what Valken tried to do, but I don't think they ever actually really implemented it. I know that they've implemented it in, I think, their paintball side, where they have this, like, you sign up for the I forget what it's called, their, like, special, like, group program. Basically, they give you, like, a patch and stuff, and then you're able to, like, go with that patch to events in milsims where they are, and then they feed you, they give you water, they have like a tent, they have, like, air conditioning or whatever, like fans, I mean. It sounds like that, but that never actually happened. So if, you know, I'd be interested to see. Oh, there, someone said Tristan came in with the hot info. The Valken Alliance, yeah. It never actually did anything or came into fruition, but it would be nice something like that actually happened.
It's funny because, like, regardless if it's veteran-based or, you know, Valken doing their community-based thing, like, there's one thing that I've seen in airsoft, and that's a lot of guys that step to the table and start running their mouth about how they're going to do this and they're going to do that, and then they come up completely short. And in order for our hobby, sport, whatever you want to call it, to grow, we need guys to actually step up to the table and execute. And regardless of what side of the fence you're on, whether you're on VFA side or you think that we're a scam or whatever we are, you can honestly agree that we deserve nothing but people who are honest and forthright. And that's what we're all about. Ask me any question. Look at our books. It's an open policy, man.
Your tax returns are public as a 501c. So if anyone really wants to dig in, they can find that on the IRS website.
And they're detailed. We don't have any of this, I brought in $50,000 or less and I just have to file one piece of paper. Like, no, bullshit. You can click on our stuff and you'll see that not one person gets paid in our organization. It's all volunteer. All of us are airsoft players, and that's the price that they're paying, is just volunteering their time to help bring somebody else's experience up to our level. And we want the best, man. Regardless, like, I would love to go to a Milsim West event. I want to try the greatest things that there are out there. I hope more guys come along that are even better than what we're getting now. This is how we grow. And dude, we are way behind paintball. So far behind them.
Yeah,
well, it depends on who you ask, because the casual scene of paintball totally died.
Yeah.
Right, but the competitive side, I mean, the guy doing the same thing that we're doing on the paintball side, they have major teams in every city. There's 50-something teams that compete that are full of vets. Like, that would be amazing if airsoft got to something like that. It already exists inside itself.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, I guess the most analogous thing to paintball that we really have in airsoft is going to be speedsoft, and the biggest problem that you run into with something like speedsoft is that you don't have, like, an inherent marker that you hit somebody with every time you shoot them, so it's pretty hard to have an actual competitive game.
Complete honor sport. But, I mean, there are people like, you know, Disposable Heroes or whatever. These are, like, I'm pretty sure they're a completely veteran team, right? Like,
the one organization is, like, every team is nothing but vets, and, like, they get dumped all of their gear, like, just boom, right on their laps. And it's just like, dude, that's not even something that's open for conversation in airsoft. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and you don't have to pay any money to join your thing, right?
No, not at all. We even give you a free patch.
Okay.
It's kind of great, you know. If you travel with us, VFA pays for your gas. And the way that it works, I'm driving, I pay for my gas. The guy sitting in the passenger seat, he pays for his gas. If he's a VFA vet, VFA pays for his gas. So the same way that we travel with our teams is the same way that VFA does it. We just happen to file.
Is anyone else?
So we fundraise, and
yeah.
We missed a little bit of your previous things. Just go back like 10 seconds.
Dude, that's so hard for me to do. I forgot what I was saying.
Something about gas
and
paying for it, and then.
Yeah, no. Just the travel. Everything gets split up, and VFA pays the way for the VFA guys that want to come. And you know, the controversies slowed progress a little bit. It has. You know, guys who are vets already are like, dude, airsoft is blah blah blah, and you're like, yeah, it is what it is. It's stupid. It's this. It's that. Like you gotta have to be a nerd, you know. Like let your inner nerd out. And
I mean, it's cringy and it's funny to watch people, you know, play BB Wars, but I enjoy the shit out of it, so I can't really.
Yeah.
It's part of the culture. I remember the first event I went to, my buddy's like, dude, this guy's going to come up and tell us he's a Navy SEAL. And I'm like, you're fucking kidding me, right? Like, this is what you've been saying all along. Like, this is not going to happen. Sure enough, guy came up and started talking about Panama and Navy SEAL. And I'm just like, holy cow. Like, this is the greatest. It's comical. It's enjoyable in itself, I guess, you know?
Well, the funny part for me, like from a non-veteran perspective, is a lot of the people who feel like they need to make excuses for why they didn't join the military. Like, you didn't join the military because you didn't want to. I'll say that. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. Dude, but that's anything, man. People just want to be associated. They want to feel cool. They want to feel accepted. And, dude, vets are some of the same. You know, they're like, my service wasn't good enough. I've got to embellish a little bit. I've got to do this. If I wear this kit, it will make me look cool. So it transverses into airsoft so much. Like, it's not veteran or it's just human.
Yeah, people always want to say they were cooler than they were.
Not me.
I wish I was cooler than I am.
I sat inside the building. I wasn't super cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You're an Intel pogue.
Dude, Intel's the shit. I love it. I got to work with cool guys, but by no stretch of the imagination am I some sort of fucking door-kicking badass, and I'm willing to admit that. I got to work with cool guys who did that kind of stuff and, you know, occasionally see what they did in person, but didn't really get to shoot anybody, and I'm kind of glad I didn't have to.
I slept in a Bradley in a motor pool.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
After making sure it worked.
I handed unqualified people guns all day long.
God. Oh,
yeah.
no.
Hell yeah.
So,
That's terrifying.
I want to just...
And I can sweep the shit out of a deck. I could tell you what.
Yeah,
Dude,
I swept
needle
target
gunning?
a lot.
What's up?
Yeah, dude.
So I was going to double back to
Death
the...
Star, man.
I got you. I was going to double back to the action tracker chair real quick. I was just kind of... off the cuff thought, like when it comes to that thing's actual like performance and ability to handle terrain, what can you actually see the thing do?
So we were just at GTI.
Okay.
That thing would be able to handle GTI if it stayed to the roadways and anything that any of your technicals would follow. It's got track treads on it. It's got wheelie bars in the back, so the chance of it tipping over is so extreme. We got about a 20-degree angle is the limit, and even that I would probably venture to tell the guy who's riding it find an alternate route. It's slower than shit. At best, at a 5-level speed, it's at a slow medium walk, so there's no speed. That guy sitting in the chair is actually at a quite a disadvantage until you see what we're rocking as far as the weapon system on that goes. But it can handle pretty much anything. It can go up and over curbs. As far as climbing objects, curbs are the limit of its advance.
It's not like it's going upstairs or anything.
No, but I would love to see if it could take some stairs. That would be pretty cool.
Someone's revving their motorcycle.
Oh yeah, someone's just hauling ass down the road.
Hell yeah, America, dog.
Sorry, neighbors cutting his.
Okay.
Of course.
So, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna cover the whole the charity games, but I've seen in the past that your charity games are one of your main sources of fundraising. How do the funds raised and the things purchased through those fundraisers actually help the mission?
So we've only had 2 games. The first one was a local one here, 5 blocks from my house. Power Paintball opened an indoor paintball facility, and they started talking about airsoft. And I was like, dude, I'm 5 blocks away. I've got this organization. Like, let me in here. I'll host a really wicked game. I hosted that game. Same thing. The money. At any given time, we're sitting with about $1,200 in our account going into an event. If you've traveled to an event, you know how much it costs to go.
Oh, yeah.
If I take a group of 6, I'm doing it for less than $500, guys. Literally. That's what it costs with gas and food pyros, BBs, and I don't have to rebuy equipment. So the first time we purchased equipment, boom, that's it. So it's pretty much gas, food, lodging. If we end up having to stay in hotels, which we've never had to do, we usually do bed and breakfast, Airbnbs for that. As far as the charity game last year, we raised $7,500 towards the chair. We had the team that I actually play on, they donated the remainder of the money. And this year's charity game is going towards a complete equipment purchase of brand new AEGs, brand new plate carriers, belts with pistols, and then we want to get some better camp equipment for food. Our food has kind of been like ham sandwiches and ramen noodles on the burners. So we'd like to actually get a decent sized grill now that we have a trailer, so we can actually cook at a military camp level. You know, Ian, you being in the military, we want the FTX experience. We want the field training exercise where, you know, you go out and you handle your training mission, which is the MilSim event that we don't have anything a part of. Like, that's them experiencing the game host. And then they come back into camp, and that's where VFA takes in, and we say, hey, we'll cook for you. Here's water. What can we do for you? If you've ever been through any type of VSO, Wounded Warrior Project, any of the hunts, they take care of you so well.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what VFA strives to do, is just make it easy for them to say, hey, I want to invest $800 and get my own airsoft gear and come back out and play with you guys, you know?
Yeah, because I was going to ask, do they keep the equipment that you loan them, or is that just they
Nope.
return that at the end?
Yeah, we've never given piece of equipment. The very first time we did any mission, there was a vet out in Oregon, Seattle area. He had a fire in his house, and we raised some money. Somebody bought a gun. Somebody built the gun. We donated some slings and some stuff to him. But other than that, no. It's rental gear. It's VFA's armory. You can use the armory, and it stays the armory. I've got a box of stuff, you know, because everybody wants to donate their slightly used airsoft gear. So I got a box of stuff that, you know, doesn't necessarily meet the standard to make it to the field. So we're looking at that hard. And so the charity game this year is going to raise money for that and just refit equipment. So, but one event a year, the annual charity game, and that brings in, you know, these Helo tickets are expensive. They're $155 a pop, you know. So.
Well, how many Helo tickets are you buying?
So we were able to do 6 tickets on this last run through one of those amazing flags that we always raffle. We auctioned one off. A guy purchased it for $1,000. We took $1,000. We bought 6 Helo tickets.
Wait, what is the flag that you raffle? I'm unfamiliar.
Yeah, hold on. Let me grab one.
It's a there you go. You'll see it. It's a wooden flag.
So okay.
Every event, we bring an American flag that's handmade by a vet. And this is for the second annual VFA charity game. We usually use the patch logo, and we put that on there as an emblem, and we do a paint job that matches. Now, the guy that makes these flags is the guy who actually got me into airsoft, and he's a Marine. And we fought on a team together. We played on a team together, and, you know, there ended up being a falling out. And he makes these flags, and they're the primary source of fundraising. We sell dollar raffle tickets, man. So all the money that we raise is through $10 patches and $1 raffle tickets. I mean, that's the business model right there. So if anybody wants to know how to start a veteran nonprofit, patches and dollar raffle tickets.
I mean, that's just airsofters in general. They'll buy anything that's a patch or a raffle ticket.
They'll eat that shit up. They buy
raffles.
all my patches.
Airsofters go ape shit for raffles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I took all of this into account when I'm looking at it. You know, and dude, whether you agree with the whole saluting the flag out of uniform or in uniform, everybody wants a wooden American flag in their house.
I do actually have one that was made by a college friend of mine. It's appeared in a couple of videos.
Damn.
Yeah, yours is nice, man.
I do not own any wooden American flags. Sad.
I do not actually have a wooden American flag.
I don't think
I'm actually gonna
American
plug
flag.
my college friend, Builds by Bino. He's on Instagram and Etsy, I believe. I think he still builds them, but that was where I got mine a couple years ago. So if anyone wants to look that up, Builds by Bino, Bino. So he doesn't watch this podcast. I haven't had a serious conversation with him in forever, but he was my college buddy, so whatever.
If he doesn't build flags, he's definitely building them now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That is one thing I'm going to do real quick is plug some new merch. So if anyone has seen the Task Force keg patches that we're doing a full color version of that. I ordered like 100 of them. And if you want one, it's like $12 shipped to your door. So just shoot me a DM on Instagram or Twitch or wherever, and then we can work something out. But anyway, moving on.
I think you had a question, right, Ian?
Yeah, I've got one that's a little bit more of a devil's advocate question, but let's go with it. So it's got a little bit. Yeah, okay. So while supporting veterans is a noble cause, and it betters society as a whole. I mean, I've worked with Special Forces Foundation and some other similar foundations at the same time. It seems that the American treatment of vets has turned from appreciation of service, especially like when we first were invading Iraq, to sort of deification of vets and calling everybody a hero. The term hero gets thrown around constantly in reference to regular service members that, despite the fact that they served honorably, they didn't do anything extraordinary. And in my eyes, that kind of dilutes the term that's kind of reserved for those who did display valor, gallantry, guys, Silver Star recipients, fucking Medal of Honor recipients, stuff like that.
Above and beyond people.
Exactly, above and beyond people. And you see a lot of that with charities as well. How do you guys avoid deifying veterans as people?
So I'm going to say to you that you're talking about an internal question that has to deal strictly with the veteran community or the military community. Let's just say the military community, right?
Oh, yeah, for
so
sure.
Any civilian doesn't understand the hierarchy within the uniformed services, right? Which means the guy sitting there taking your administrative paperwork is not the same guy that's pulling the triggers on the front line, okay? But let's talk about that. So the guys that are special forces, the guys that are trigger pullers, the guys that earn the valor, right, so to speak, are 10% of all the uniformed services. So based on that ideology alone, everybody that wore a uniform that didn't get a combat infantry badge is worthless. I fail to see that conversation. Now, if you want to have a conversation about honorable service members versus douchebags, that conversation I think everybody will see eye to eye on, which is we don't pander to guys who look at me, look at me, look at me. When you sign up for VFA, we ask you basic, simple questions. If you fluff these questions, guess who doesn't get an email? There's not one organization in the industry that's catering to veterans that doesn't run into guys who are saying what they are not. It is our job and our responsibility as a 501c to handle the vetting of each and every vet that comes through our program to ensure they are exactly who they are. Now, if you're a service member who happened to just be in the National Guard and you didn't get a deployment, in our organization, you are just as worthy as the guy who lost a leg on the front line. I want you to have a conversation with that guy, because now we can have a better understanding inside of that veteran conversation that I just mentioned, so that hierarchy doesn't have to exist. There's so much that I can learn being a non-combat guy from combat guys that would benefit me in my personal life, but we don't have these conversations because they're special and I'm not. I fail to have that conversation or see eye to eye with it. We're all created equally. Just because you got to piss in that corner and I didn't doesn't make you any better. If I was put in that situation, maybe I would have reacted the same way that you would have. I will never know, and I have to live with that. I say that for myself, but there's hundreds of millions of other guys who wore the uniform who feel worthless because guys will stand at the top and say, I did this, I did that. Dude, you got 15 minutes of action and some really shitty fucking hardship. I don't wish that among anybody. The conversations that we have are not legitimate conversations. They're fucking clouded by judgment and misconception. Nobody's going to understand the veteran community or the military community unless you've put on a military uniform. And guess what? I've had conversations with guys who have lost guys on the front line guarding a cache, and their service wasn't fucking good enough. End of conversation.
No, you definitely make a solid point. I mean, it does seem to be a pretty consistent dick measuring contest between guys. Whenever you bring up service, that, you know, one guy will be like, oh, you know, I served here. Oh, you know, I was in the corner goal versus, oh, I was in fucking Sangan. Doesn't really matter where the fuck you were if you know, did your job and you did it honorably.
We can't fight each other anymore.
Exactly.
It used to be guys would just be able to throw gloves off and fucking knock boots, and then you'd figure out who the guy is. But we don't even do that. Dude, our hands are tied in uniform. We got ROEs. We have this. We have that. It's so the misconception's real. I mean, civilians don't understand it, and I get it. But, dude, I'm in the business of making money so I can get other vets to come out and play airsoft. That's all I care about. Why? Because I fucking love airsoft, man. It's so much fun. It gives me a break from my wife, my kids. My wife plays with me, but it gives me a break, you know?
Hey, Freddie, I haven't talked too much this podcast, but I'm happy I got to listen to you, and that's some of the realest shit I've ever heard come out of another veteran's mouth. Like, it's really hard to put into words what you just said. It's so much of it is a dick measuring contest, and so much of it is adding yourself up to be somebody else that you wanted to be or that you couldn't be, and or just dealing with things like survivor's guilt and others. Like, it's really hard to process and deal with all that, and everyone has different experiences. Like, I never deployed, but I saw people get fucked up. Like, I saw people get hurt, you know, like just random occurrences, just seeing things and hearing things. And I was on Fort Hood in 2014 during the second mass shooting, so I had to deal with that. And I saw a dude jump from a building trying to commit suicide after deployment. That, like, there's, just because you're not a combat vet doesn't mean you haven't experienced some hard shit, you know?
It doesn't mean that there isn't any post-traumatic stress that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And you know what, dude? Like, on the level of PTSD, I don't make a whole lot of statements on it. Guys will say, oh yeah, you PTSD. No, dude, that's not our MO. We're in it to have fun. But we're talking about mental health. So you're talking about the individual, who he was before service, who he or she was during service, and who we become after service has so much to do with our surroundings. And if I can have even the slightest impact of, say, hey, dude, don't go into a hole, like, check out airsoft. If you have anything negative to say about that, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like,
airsoft is fun, man.
That's when I played airsoft before the Army because, like, I wanted to go all the way. I want to do, like, SF and shit. and I got hurt pretty early on, and I got out like a year before I thought I was for medical discharge for traumatic brain injury. And the first thing I did when I got out is I went to evike.com and I just started looking at shit. And I was talking to Eric, and Eric built me like this 416, and he took me out and we had a blast. And then we went to Milsim West, and I met like all these new people and experienced like the FTX again, like experienced being out in the field again. And I'm just addicted to it. But
the camaraderie, man. It's the kinetic motion, the hanging out. I mean, like, Eric, dude, is from a guy who's not been in the military. Like, isn't that what you get as a civilian? Like, hanging out. What
I get from it is I get the hanging out with your friends. I get the having this silly hobby community that I can insert myself into and, you know, become a part of it and really connect with people. And I think that's what I really enjoy about it. But I think one of the things that I especially enjoy about it is being able to connect with people who have not served or served, who then bring all their different perspectives. And that's what I enjoy about, like, all the varying conversations about even topics like the military service that, I obviously can't participate in this conversation you and Ian and Cory have in any good faith because I have no real perspective on it, having not been in the military. But hearing the discussion about it is very fascinating, just to try to gain that level of understanding. And that's a great conversation. But in a way, I feel like that wasn't really the question that was being asked when Ian asked his question. I feel like the question more was like about civilian handling of veterans, not veterans handling of other veterans. What's been your experience with that?
As far as having a civilian on our staff?
Yeah, well, I think there's a bit of a hero complex with a lot of members of the military, and I think that was what people were asking. Like, how have you guys dealt with because there's a lot of people who will meet anyone who wore a uniform in any capacity, honorably discharged or not, will take every story they have at face value and will immediately think, oh, this guy must know what he's doing. This guy must be better than me, because there's that hero complex that has pervaded the American consciousness. Yeah. What's your guys' experience with that?
Honestly, like, that's not who we are, man. That's not who service members are. The guys who are legit don't talk, man. They don't run their mouth. They don't sit there to the airsofters and talk about Panama and the U.S. Navy SEALs. Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Navy SEALs weren't around in Panama. It was UDT teams back then. Like, I mean, like, just stupid shit. And we police our own. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of our guys are traveling with us. And so we police our own. Can I say that I'm going to be able to, stop every guy from telling a story that doesn't exist? No, man, it happens. There's no hero complex with Veterans for Airsoft. We don't have a hero complex. None of these guys want recognition. If you go back and look at our social media, I don't post a lot of photos of the squads that we take out. Why? Because we're too busy having fun and living the life of Milsim to stop and take photos. I'm not in it for photos. We're not in it for anything other than, hey, man, do you support what we're doing? Buy a patch, have a conversation with these guys, and then you tell me, what you think. I mean, most of the guys that come into relationships with our organization, with me, my wife, with John, with Doug, with Lucky, with these guys that are around camp, like, you wouldn't know the difference other than the vendor tent. You wouldn't know the difference from us or anybody else. We're here to have fun, and we want these guys to come back. They're not going to come back if we're, like, parading them around in uniform. You know what I'm saying? It's not what we do. We don't do that. We don't. Yeah. We say, hey, man, do you want to come up and hold the flag? Maybe you'll see some photos of guys that have held the flag. That's it, dude. Guys don't want to be recognized. And especially with the criticism that's going on right now, man, you tell me, if you're a vet coming into the organization, do you want to be recognized? You're going to get fucking made into a meme. You're going to get cracked into a joke. I mean, and hopefully guys hearing this podcast, guys hearing the other podcast, will realize what we are, who we are, and what we're doing, and we can actually, get more heavy footway where these questions are just, hey, man, yeah, we know all about VFA. I want to be a thing of the past, that you're just consistently like, oh, what new patch do they have? That's it. There's no heroes here. Heroes are the guys wearing the uniform. None of us are wearing it anymore.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that would then, I hate to say, Josh is in the chat, and I guess he would beg the question then, why is it then that the free stuff then is needed, as he would put it in his words?
What free stuff, Josh? Tell me, what fucking free stuff are you talking about, bro? Because everything that somebody's given us, we've given them a patch or a freaking raffle ticket. Nobody's walked home with any of our gear. So you tell me what free stuff. You think I'm getting free stuff? You can call freaking Third Coast Airsoft and ask them where the ticket comes from. It comes from an unpaid cadre staff, dude. Unpaid cadre staff. You know what? Let me address Josh Warren, because this is what everybody came for. You cool with this, Ian? I'll keep it calm, cool, and collected.
Hey, man. I feel like it's only fair.
Josh Warren is a for-profit business, and he spends his money on his veteran status and the veteran status of others. Look at the website. These guys are honored military veterans. They deserve to be paid. Josh hangs them out, and he takes home a paycheck. I don't do any of this, yet I'm criticized for it. Why? What free stuff, dude? Because I guarantee Milsim West has been given free shit from every one of your freaking sponsors. Josh Warren, you have free shit in your garage, in your attic, in your closet, along with all them fucking skeletons, bro.
All right.
All right.
Sorry.
No, it's fine,
all
man.
good.
Don't worry.
It's all
That's good.
The
Yeah.
spicy
I just
call.
wanna know
I
what
was gonna bring up the fact that I'm
and,
pretty sure that those guys do get paid. The actual cadre
He's
members do get
commenting
paid.
right
They
now
should.
that they do get paid.
Dude, hell yeah, man. They should get paid. They're using their military background. Dude, awesome. I commend Josh Warren for paying vets, but you take home a paycheck, bro. I don't. And nobody else on my staff does, so you don't have a pot to piss in.
Well, I mean, he is running a for-profit business. I think like that is the whole point.
A for-profit business that dishes on a non-profit organization that is on the up and up. Let's talk about non-profits that aren't on the up and up that he pays guys. Warfighter Airsoft. Do we know about these guys?
Can't say I did.
I've never heard of them.
Okay, well, look them up, man. Warfighter Airsoft. Just look them up, okay? Go to YouTube. Check out their videos. They were doing great work. They shit the bed. They had their 501c revoked from them. This dude that ran that organization is a paid cadre staff on Milsim West. And yet, our organization gets flack from him and his great, fantastic team of Russian impressionists. And I don't understand why. He's never even had a conversation with me, which is why he's probably like this, because I banned his ass the very first time I saw his fucking shenanigans. I don't play those games, bro. That's it, man.
That's right.
Like, I would love to come to a Milsim West. I would love to take my organization to a Milsim West, but I will never give anybody in the airsoft community's money that donated to VFA to Milsim West because of him. And that's a shame, dude.
So does that mean you wouldn't participate, like bring veterans to Milsim West ever, or?
It sounds like he doesn't want to give money to Milsim West, period, is what it sounds like.
No, I mean, dude, Josh offered us tickets in the very beginning, but the way that he went about it and the amount of racial attacks that have come through social media in the very beginning and the amount of constant racial bullshit in enlistment forms that come through, it's a joke, bro. It's a joke.
What do you mean by racial attacks?
Dude, I mean, I could pull up enlistment applications that are throwing out N-word. They're throwing out just really gnarly racial slurs, dealing with fake enlistment applications. Joe Blow's name, XY. It's kiddie stuff, you know. It's the online outreach culture. It is what it is. You know?
Do you mind expanding on that when you say like enlistment?
Yeah, is that like for cadre, like Milsim West cadre, or?
So like so anybody can go on VFA's website and you can sign up as a vet through our organization, and there's an online form. So you fill that out, and then when you fill that out, it sends us an email that says who you are, where you've been, and what you're looking to do, both military and airsoft related. So we got a huge influx, and it's all tracked back to just this roller coaster ride of the social media game. You know, I get it, man. I'm not dumb. It's social media. It is what it is. Okay. I've never had a conversation with the guy. You know, I'm easily found in the community. We don't live that far from each other, so conversations should probably be had because our community doesn't deserve any of this.
It'd be a lot nicer if everyone just got the fuck along.
Well, that would be nice.
And,
So you and Josh have never actually spoken in voice or in person?
No, we've never actually even shared messages back and forth. You know, I don't see anything that he does online, and he can't see anything that I do. And you know, there's always guys that are like, "Hey, check this out," and it's like, "Oh, he's at it again." You know?
Have you considered having like an actual like long form discussion with the guy to just like see where the disconnect is?
You know, I'm just not sure that would like what benefit. Like it doesn't affect him and what he does isn't affecting our mission or where we're going. Like, you know, I can continue going down the path that we're going, and we can continue to grow. I mean, if he wants to have a conversation, he can have a conversation, but he's gonna have to do it face to face because I don't play these games where like you're gonna sit here and do what you've done over the last 2.5 years, and nothing you've said it holds water. None of it holds any water.
Josh is saying that you blocked him. Is that true?
Oh, dude, I banned him way before VFA was even a real thing, dude. Like, I was friends with Javier Franco. I saw what they did to him at SHOT Show that year. That's fucking horrible, man. taking photos of the dude from behind and turning him to a meme. Come on, dude. You call yourself a fucking elite. Get out of here.
Well, I mean, like maybe if he wasn't blocked, or if that kind of thing was in the air, of having being blocked, maybe a dialogue could form.
Yeah, it could form, or you could get access to photos of my kids and turn them into memes too. Come on, like this airsoft. No conversation needs to be had. I tell people all the time, go to Milsim West. You should try everybody. I've heard nothing but great things about people that go to those games. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I love Milsim West. I've always had a great time there. I've never had a problem. And
so going
Warren
back
seems
to
like
the
stand-up guy.
So going back to the warfighter thing, because someone was saying we have no balls in the comments, and I'll tell you what, I don't take that kindly. The warfighter thing. So who of the Milsim West cadre was running that, and what was the story with that from your perspective?
So from my understanding and looking at the filing status, an organization called Warfighter Airsoft was started by a gentleman who was already running a team. Right? They started raising money. They started gaining heavy traction. From the photos and looks of it. There was an issue that I cannot comment about because I'm still very unclear based on the articles that I've read. But the main guy who started it, there was some question into whether he was exactly who he said he was. So somebody else had taken over. The person who had taken over for this organization is the paid cadre staff. His name, call sign Hollywood.
Okay, so Chris,
yes.
Chris Bast.
Yes, Chris Bast. And so I messaged Chris to ask him about the organization, and he said that, it just didn't gain any traction. They weren't able to raise any money. But it's funny because the state of California says that they revoked their 501c3 based on the fact that they didn't file for 3 consecutive years.
Well, were those 3 consecutive years that they were operating, or were those...
That's a great question. I don't deal with all of the IRS as far as what they handle when they revoke somebody's status. I just know that every year, as a nationally recognized 501c, we legally have to file our taxes every year. And if we don't, you go 3 consecutive years, they remove your status, and so then you're not tax exempt anymore.
I mean,
okay,
I suppose,
but it's unclear if the 501c was operating and needed to file a tax return then, or was there a better process they could have gone about disbanding?
That's a great question. When it comes to disbanding, I can say that Veterans for Airsoft has bylaws that we had to submit, and it actually in our bylaws shows how we're supposed to disband and where the gear, the money, the assets go after that. I can't answer any of those questions other than the fact that he bashes us, and there's an organization that was doing good things, and it looked like they were, but then it fizzled out. And then Black Sheep happened around the same time. So, now starts the ball rolling about veterans looking bad in the airsoft community.
Yeah, because Black Sheep was obviously, to make a stupid fucking pun, that was very much the Black Sheep of event promoters when that was going on. I mean, so you almost have to wonder if everyone really had such a sour taste in their mouth from the whole Black Sheep thing that a lot of suspicion is almost to be expected anytime someone comes out with stuff like that.
Can you guys expand on the Black Sheep thing? Because I'm kind of in the dark on that.
Yeah, I'm in the dark as well about this.
I'm sure a lot of our commenters are too.
I'll speak on it just because I've done a little bit of digging, and so Black Sheep's running the greatest of the greatest Milsim events, and the guy who owns Black Sheep, give me his name.
John Buccarelli.
John Buccarelli, he has the idea that Milsim is going to help veterans and military coming back from deployments ease back in and transition back to civilian life. And so he wants to raise $150,000 through multiple different fundraising sources. He's basically fundraising to pay for tickets to his events for vets, which is where the big question came in. Where's the money going towards? Because if I donate money, I'm buying a ticket for a vet, but you're benefiting from it. And so he didn't have a 501c status. It was it was a for-profit business that was using fundraising, donations, setting up these different crowdsourcing for funding. and the rest is history. Josh Warren got a hold of it. The rest of the community got a hold of it, and Black Sheep was forced out of production pretty much. I mean, that was way before my time, but that's my understanding.
Well, I remember the big controversy about it. I mean, a lot of Black Sheep staff left over this. I mean, I watched this all unfold in real time and followed all the media around it. And one of the big controversy was that John Buccarelli was basically trying to run as publicly, he was calling it a charity that was a PTSD milsim challenge. Correct. And was trying to claim, based on absolutely no grounds and with no doctors involved, that his events were a form of awareness and possibly treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder.
Correct.
And then was also taking donations and taking the money for tickets that were still, he was profiting from all of it. And obviously, people of my generation of airsofters who watched that play out, I have to admit, we see something like Veterans for Airsoft come out, and we're like, okay, now whose pockets are getting lined from this? Because it does seem like it's very easy for, in the airsoft community, especially where there is a lot of hero worship of
like the last
military, it's very easy for people to so in the airsoft community, especially where there's a lot of hero worship of the military, it seems very easy to try to capitalize on that sentiment.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we wouldn't be as successful if that wasn't true. People are patriotic. People want to say thank you. We give them an opportunity. Remember that we're a small percentage of the world who sat in their living room during the war that I fought during, and the war that's continuing to go on, and they didn't sign up. They didn't have whatever it was to sign up. But the only way that they can give back is through a donation. And if they see Veterans for Airsoft as the cause to give their money because we take guys out and let them have fun, yeah, man, that's cool. And that's why we're doing so well.
So this is actually an interesting twist here in the comments. Josh says, and you can respond to this how you want. He says, unblock him and he will offer you a paid cadre position at Milsim West.
Yeah, dude, but I'm not looking to make money. I don't want a paid cadre position. I'm happy playing my airsoft currently where I'm at. Thank you, Josh Warren. I will unblock you. I'd like to have a conversation because if we could put this to squash, dude, I think our community would be a lot better for it.
I'll be honest. Like I've always been like a little on the suspicious side with VFA, but never like hostile to it. So if you guys could build a bridge, like I feel like that would benefit everybody. I feel like that'd be cool.
It does, but that would take him admitting that he's wrong, man. And like that, you know, hey, I welcome a conversation. I've said I'd had a conversation, but you know, there's some misconception, and that's the idea that you possess any power. And it's like, dude, this chair is sitting in a trailer that anybody can use. So if anybody in this program that's watching knows anybody that could benefit from sitting in this chair, a child or a veteran, hook them up with us because we'll take them out and they'll have a time of their lives. Promise them that. Yeah,
because it sounds to me like you're not. I mean, at least from what you're saying on this podcast, you know, one of the things that I personally take a lot of issue with when people do this and you're not doing it is you're not playing the PTSD card, because as someone who's done some serious reading on mental health things for, you know, my own personal life and people I know, that is something that really every time someone brings that up in regards to airsoft, I get that little cringe feeling in the back of my neck that makes me really want to go off.
Dude, and when we started it and they're like, hey, you got to look at this, because I was like, whoa, where's all this backfire coming from? And then I looked into it and it was like, oh shit, like this is what it takes to do a case study. And to be truthfully honest, flooding is the word, the actual psychological technique that they would consider airsoft to be. They're doing some of that work in VR goggles where they're able to recreate your trauma in VR goggles. But for the idea that it could transfer over into airsoft, man, we just want to shoot BBs with our friends. Like that's all this is. If you have severe PTSD, Veterans for Airsoft's probably not the one for you. We probably would consider you to maybe be a liability. So if you're easily triggered, Airsoft's not for you, man. Like, you could hurt somebody coming out and having episodes. I mean, I don't know if you guys have run into any players that have freaked out.
Not from military PTSD, but I have been at games where people have had seizures and things like that, and that's obviously a whole different issue.
Dude,
Or
there's
just
a
got
reason
really, really
we sign waivers. Yeah, there's a reason we sign waivers, and we ask guys. We're like, hey, are you enrolled with the VA? Do you have somebody to talk to? Are there any mental or are there any health conditions that may limit your participation in the event? I mean, if we get a guy that's like, no, I'm really screwed up in the head, we're like, yeah, come on, it'll be a lot of fun. Like, no, dude, we'll call you back.
I mean, is there any kind of like screening process or anything when you bring vets to Milsim or something that would
help
them avoid sticky situations?
Yeah. So once you come through, and I can get an idea of when I say, hey, what's your military experience? Some people will go into elaborate where they've been, the year they've been, what rank they were. That's common. So I can get an idea, and then when we vet them, we get a look at their DD-214. Provide your DD-214. There's pertinent information on there, and we know what we're dealing with when we look at a DD-214, and then follow-on questions will be had after that. But it's a direct one-on-one conversation with myself and the vet that's involved, because we're still, we're not too big, so we don't have to have a psych department just yet.
Okay.
Yeah. And we haven't had anybody that's come out with us that has had an issue. They haven't been an issue. We had one guy that came out with us. He said, yeah, I think I'm going to stay off of that third floor. Those grenades in that corner are really, wow, those things are loud. And it's like, all right, cool, man. Pull yourself back a little bit,
Yeah. So you don't get triggered or something.
Or, yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah. But I'm kind of actually curious, because I don't, I'm probably, maybe I'm the one that's the most in the dark, but how long has your organization been running, and how many because you said there were you've done 2 charity games.
Yes.
Yeah. So how long have you guys been actually doing this?
So we started, I made a post January 1, 2018, and it was a pre-patch order that got dropped in Gears Classified. That's what started the whole tidal wave, right?
Okay.
2 days later, the paperwork was submitted to have everything start the ball rolling, right? So we get the ball rolling. We're nationally recognized, or we're locally recognized as an entity, and now you have to go through the process of obtaining your 501c3.
Right.
So we started in January of 2018. It's now June of 2020, 2.5 years, and the second annual charity game will be November of this year.
Okay, so the second one has yet to take place, but it will be taking place.
Yeah, we had one event at that local field that was called just King of the Hill, and we needed to raise some money, and I saw an opportunity, and so we were able to raise $750 off that small event. But there's been one charity game and raised $7,500, and that was at Black Ops Bristol. And this year's charity game is the 6th, 7th, and 8th of November at Sherwood Forest in LaPorte, Indiana.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay any. Do you have to buy a ticket, or how does that work?
This is a full-blown fundraising game.
Okay. So this is sort of separate from what the other portion of your organization does. So you set up these charity events. This is how you gather money, and then you use this money in order to set up the whole thing to bring veterans to Milsim games.
Yeah. So to run it down for you, every time we go to an event, we bring a flag, right? And every event that we've gone to, we've made more money off the flag than we spent. Okay. So here's our organization now gaining traction. Okay. In order to do special projects, special things like the Hilo mission, or to buy large pieces of equipment like $1,000 military tents, we have to have things like annual charity fundraisers. That's what the VFA charity game is our annual fundraiser for a large specific project. This year is just going to equipment. Last year went to the chair. The third annual, I can't tell you. The board hasn't met. We haven't figured out what our needs are.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I figure if anyone has any more outstanding questions, I am gonna have to wrap this in like 5 or 10 minutes. So if any of you guys have any additional questions and if any chat questions come through, that'd be great.
Yeah, I
let's
mean,
take a
there's
couple
some
of chat questions, I guess, and then someone asked, I guess a good follow-up question would be, how is money spent in the organization? But based on the questions you've already answered, it sounds like a lot went to the chair and the trailer for the chair and the tent, and then the rest.
So the tent was donated to us. So I mean, if you're questioning where the money went, I'm going to tell you to go on the IRS website. You'll see where all the money from the first year went. It's broken down into equipment, shipping cost. I mean, we ship product out. So we're a full running business as a nonprofit. We still have overhead costs and stuff like that, but the number is 80-20. 80% of all funds raised go directly back to providing MilSim experience for vets.
Okay. Someone was asking, why are the tents needed? Genuine question.
Why are the what needed?
Why are the tents, like the Drash?
Although you didn't spend money on the tents, I guess.
Oh no, the tent was donated, but thank you very much for the question. So when you buy a $230 14 by 10 Walmart Ozark Trail tent and you take it out 9 events a year, it only lasts so long. So we need to grow. And so military tents both bring you a presence and increase the MilSim experience for Veterans for Airsoft vets. And it was donated kindly from the guys down at Evo Airsoft Field down in Florida.
Okay.
So, oh God, this is a spicy question. This will be our last one.
Oh.
So, oh man, I'm debating even asking.
Is it
but
Josh?
You know what? It's Josh. He says,
dude, I have a fucking 9-month-old baby. Okay.
Dude,
so my wife has it.
Chill
out.
If he wants to talk shit,
Dude,
he can go
the
ahead and
pitbull's
start
riled
fucking,
up now.
Message
listen.
me. But he's too big of a fucking pussy to do it.
Well, okay, go. Yeah, make your make your point.
Dude, fucking talk shit.
Dude, good one, Josh. Awesome. Dude, my wife has been my ride or die on this project that I've done. She's been with me since before I served. She's been with me the entire time. We're the anomaly of a typical military marriage. She supports me in everything I do, including this stupid thing that we do called BBs, which I don't make my money off of. I have a normal job. My wife takes care of our kids. Yeah, personal trainer and massage therapist, consistently giving back. My wife gives back. And when she can come out and play with us, she does an amazing freaking job on the field, but she does a more amazing job on our books, which keep us completely 100% legal. And that right there is worth its weight in gold. So that's all I have to say about my wife in this organization.
Okay. Let's not bring families further into this. That was probably too spicy of a question to field, but I
knew it was coming, man, because he can't get me on anything else. You're going to take a dig at the family.
All right. On that spicy note, maybe this is a good place to end, because I've been trying to, you know, as much as I'm friends with Josh and everything, like I don't mean any disrespect toward anybody. Like I want to make sure everyone gets their voice heard.
I 100% appreciate all of you for even giving me an opportunity to have a conversation. This is where it needs to go. If you have any more questions, please message me. But if you're going to be rude and you're going to be a dickhead, there's hundreds of protests going on across the city. I welcome you to step outside your house and have those conversations there. Because airsoft's we don't need this shit.
Okay.
All right.
So anyway, Freddy, feel free to plug your social media, plug whatever events you have coming up.
If you wanna donate to Veterans for Airsoft, check out our website, veteransforairsoft.com or .org. Direct link to our PayPal. There's a store there. You can buy your Veterans for Airsoft charity tickets. Hit us up on Facebook if you're a vet that's signed up. And you're like, I haven't gotten an email yet. Hit us up directly. We got events coming up in September. Summer's going to be slow, you know, guys. Events, it's lacking over the summer, so.
Yeah.
Other than that, you know. Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, for sure, man. GunGamers merch.
Pleasure
if you want any neat shit, feel free to hit up the TeeSpring. Eric's got that linked below. or the Spreadshirt. I've got a whole bunch of neat shit there as well. We're doing those Task Force Keg.
If you want to support
patches.
the person who actually did all the work for the podcast, buy from the Spreadshirt.
Dude, I gotta get one of those Judy t-shirts, man.
We've got a couple.
Moose, thank you for the follow. But yeah, other than that,
Moose coming with a spicy follow.
Moose coming in with the follow. GunGamers podcast episode 19. It's been real, guys. So.
Oh yeah, the real.
All right.
The real.
All right.
Thanks,
take
you
it easy,
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally, man.
Peace, y'all.
We off.
Wait,